Allegiance, led by Director Bennett.
Hands over our heart. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, and our opening invocation will be led by Pastor Marlon Jackson. Pastor Jackson, if you'll lead us at this time, please.
Welcome back, Marlon.
Good afternoon, board members. Let us pray. Lord God, we come before your presence and thanking you for this meeting tonight. Thank you for allowing them to invoke your presence in this meeting. We pray for them as they make decisions that affect the constituents of the people of Fontana and Rialto and the surrounding areas. We pray for them as they consider all that comes before them. We ask you to bless them now in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Thank
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right, so next up we'll have public comment on closed session items.
Members of the public may participate and give public comment in one of these ways: in person at West Valley Water District Boardroom, located at 855 West Baseline Road, Rialto, California, by joining the Zoom meeting with access code 840-293-7790, or by telephone by calling 888-475-4499 with the same access code, or by email to administration@wvwd.org.
All right, have we received any requests for public comment?
We have not.
Okay, not seeing anyone online or here in person. Going once, going twice. We will close public comment on closed session items, and we will adjourn into closed session. Thank you. Any? Okay. All right, we're back from closed session. We will have a report out from closed session.
Yes, Mr. President. The board met in closed session on item 1 under 54956.9 of the Government Code, and there was no reportable action pursuant to the Brown Act.
Okay,
In the
all
closed
right,
session.
thank you very much. All right, next up, we'll adopt the agenda. We did have an emergency item which was added, but now staff has asked that we pull business item 2 from the agenda. So unless anyone has any objections, I'll entertain such a motion.
I motion that we adopt the agenda as presented minus item 2.
Okay, we have a first. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Right.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a first and a second. If there's no discussion, we'll call the roll.
Director Moore,
Yes.
Director Bennett,
Yes.
Director Garcia,
Yes.
Vice President Jenkins,
Yes.
President Young.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
All right, public participation.
Members of the public may participate and give public comment in one of these ways: in person at West Valley Water District Boardroom, here at 855 West Baseline Road, Rialto, California, by joining the Zoom meeting with access code 840-293-7790, or by telephone by calling 888-475-4499 with that same access code, or by email to administration@wvwd.org.
All right, have we received any requests for public comment?
We have not.
All right, seeing no one here and online, we'll go ahead and close public participation, and we'll go into presentations.
Thank you, Mr. President. Tonight I have an update on our work plan goals. And just as a little bit of a recap, the board approved our strategic plan last year, 2024, and we made some progress on a number of work plan goals last year. I provided an update to the board on that this past January. So we're off and running on a new year and a new set of goals, and wanted to meet with you tonight and give you an update on our progress over the first 6 months. So just take a quick look at the overall process. The board developed a vision statement, a mission statement, core values, strategic goals and objectives, and then the work plan goals were developed by staff to achieve all of the above. And the work plan goals are really going to be the focus of what I'm going to talk about tonight. Just looking back, the board determined the vision for West Valley Water District to be a model for innovation and sustainability with a commitment to our growing communities and our employees. And the board established our mission for West Valley Water District provides our community with high quality and reliable water service in a cost-effective and sustainable manner. And the board established core values, highest levels of public trust and integrity, being an effective, proactive regional partner, establishing the district as a preferred workplace, being a model for innovation, and really developing a long-term sustainable enterprise. The board then, working with leadership staff, developed these 8 strategic goals. Manage and deliver a safe, reliable, sustainable water supply. Be an exemplary employer. Develop and grow effective communication and advocacy practices. Strengthen partnerships with outside agencies. Apply sound planning, innovation, and best practices. Demonstrate effective financial stewardship. Achieve health, safety, and regulatory compliance, and deliver superior customer service. So 8 strategic goals. And then providing more detail for each one of those, we worked with the board to develop what turned out to be 40 different objectives over the 8 strategic goals. So about 5 objectives were developed for each of the strategic goals. And just as one example, not going to go through all of them, just this one. For our first strategic goal, we developed these 5 objectives. For example, increase system capacity for anticipated growth, assess, repair, replace, upgrade aging infrastructure, provide effective source water treatment fortify a resilient water supply, and provide operational continuity through comprehensive physical and cybersecurity. So 8 strategic goals, about 5 objectives for each one, 40 objectives total. So then, let's build some detail underneath each one of those objectives. And those are the work plan goals. So these goals were developed at the staff level based on everything that I've just talked about that the board developed. So the goals were developed as a team with all department heads, about 5 work plan goals for each objective. So 5 times 40, it's about 200. Right now, we're working off 195 work plan goals. These are the detailed projects and programs at the department level. I'll be going over just a few of those later. But for each one of these goals, we identify the department and the lead person accountable for progress. So 195, that's actually down from last year. If you remember, we had 236 last year. So the difference is we completed some, we deleted some were consolidated. We also added quite a bit. But through all that, we ended up with 195 currently. These goals are developed for completion over a 12-month period. We're using the calendar year. And there's longer term goals on there, but those are broken up into achievable goals, again, in a 12-month segment. So you have in front of you 11 by 17, a spreadsheet where we track all of the work plan goals. And we also can provide that in a Excel document if you'd like. There's a lot of detail in there. So going back to this example, our first strategic goal, we had these 5 objectives. For an example, let's take a look at this first objective, increase system capacity for anticipated growth. We developed 4 work plan goals to achieve that objective. And those are, as you can see on your spreadsheet, complete planning pre-design work for Reservoir 8-3, award construction contract for Lord Ranch, complete the design for Pump Station 7-2, and begin updating the water system master plan. So for all the work plan goals, they're organized by strategic goal and objective on the spreadsheet. Again, the lead department and the lead person is identified. For example, here, these are all engineering-led projects, so they all have an E behind them. Again, developed for 12-month periods. I'm doing a mid-year and end-of-year assessment and then reporting out to the board after each one of those periods. On an annual basis, we revise, update, advance, and implement a new set of 12-month work plan goals. Again, maintaining ongoing work plans, goal tracking on this spreadsheet. So how are we doing so far this year? I'm going to take a 1 slide per strategic goal and give you a snapshot of how the work plan goals are progressing. So taking a look at the first strategic goal, we actually have 30 work plans out of the 195 devoted to this strategic goal. On the graph, you can see the progress. On the left is a reference table. So 0, we've done not started. 1, some progress. 2 is good progress. 3, excellent progress. And 4 is complete or nearly so. So as you can see in this slide, we've started everything. Good or excellent progress on most of the items. And here are some highlights of the work plan goals under this strategic goal. For example, A2, awarded the Lord Ranch projects for construction. B2, awarded Bloomington 3C for construction. B8, completed fire hydrant retrofit projects. South Fontana, and this is using $100,000 of Jesse Armendariz county money. First time ever. C2, completed blending permits for wells 2, 4, 5, and 1A. C3, completed the Trident filter rehabilitation. And D3, at the end of this, I have an asterisk. That means I feel like this goal is one of the ones that are lagging and that we need to put more effort into for what remains this year. In this case, D3, looking at annexation alternatives for the Met service area. So looking to pick up the pace on that moving forward. So I'm going to do this 7 more times. Second strategic goal is to be an exemplary employer. We had 35 work plan goals developed out of the 195 under this strategic goal, showing really excellent progress in general. Here are some highlights. A2, expanding the employee development program, expanding the cross-training and career development programs. This would also include the career series that we've built in multiple departments, where someone can move up in operations or move up in customer service from a 1 to a 2 to a 3 based on their additional years experience, based on if they get the certifications required, based on if they're doing a good job and that's documented in their annual review, and if their supervisor approves it. So, but all that is really expanding our employee development program and career succession. Yes, sir.
Do you trend those promotions and increases? Do you have a way of trending those, Heidi?
We
That would be
We
kind of
will.
nice to see.
Yeah,
Okay, that'd be nice
again,
to-
this is
yeah.
brand new this year. They're built into the HR policies and procedures that will be coming to the full board, I believe, next month. But yeah, great idea. And we're looking to take that same concept and do that in engineering, do that in cross connections and other departments. Have some real entry-level positions, and then have some career progression built in. So moving on, some highlights. A6, employee recognition programs, including Employee of the Month, Employee of the Year, and Department of the Year. C3, develop and expand the 1,000-hour worker program, and really connecting that with our overall community education and workforce development programs. E4, highlight staff achievements. We're doing that in many ways. I did some announcements here at the board meeting. We're talking at the all hands and other meetings, also in our new newsletter put together by POGA. F1 is progress on our headquarters facilities master plan. We talked a little bit about that at the water rate study, and we'll see a presentation of the full board in September. And then finally, G2, the HR policies and procedures that are at our 99% complete. Coming into a couple committee meetings in August, and then probably to the full board in September. Moving on to the next strategic goal, effective communication and advocacy practices. As the board knows, as they've been involved, a lot of great work in this area. 36 work plan goals out of the 195 devoted to this strategic goal. Here are some highlights: expanding social media presence, increased participation in community events, advancements to our water conservation programming, expanding our educational outreach, and we're continuing to meet, for example, with the school district, City Rialto, and others to build these programs in our own service area. Legislative platform and advocacy program, went to DC, Sacramento multiple times. A lot of great success stories there. That's turning into real dollars for the district and real support from our elected officials. And then finally, effective engagement with San Bernardino Valley District. A number of areas we join them on our tours. We're working on them with the heli hydrants along with the county. We're working with Valley and the county on funding for water conservation programs, a turf buyback program, a water conservation retrofit at Rosina Ranch right now, for example. Moving on to strategic goal 4, strengthen partnerships with outside agencies. 19 work plan goals associated with this goal, and a lot of excellent progress already so far this year. Here are some highlights. We're collaborating with a regional grants consortium throughout the Inland Empire and taking really a leadership position in those meetings. And leadership in the Rialto Basin Groundwater Management Plan. We've got Stetson under contract to do some modeling work. Active engagement with Bloomington Mac. And really showing some new leadership with ERNI, that's Emergency Response Network of the Inland Empire. That's been lagging a little bit in the past. So we're stepping in and really facilitating an improved and coordinated emergency response. for the area. And then D8, address compliance with MOELO requirements, whatever that is. It's, of course, it's metered water efficient landscape ordinance requirements. So we,
Gotta love the acronyms.
MOELO. So that's been lagging a little bit, but we just hired our water conservation analyst, so this is one of his top jobs. So we're expecting, and I'm sure we'll get a lot more progress in what's left of this year with Daniel. So moving on, strategic goal 5, 22 work plan goals associated with this strategic goal. Pretty good progress overall. Let's take a look at some highlights and maybe a need for improvement in one area. On the positive side, we're really expanding our backup power capabilities and applying for and getting grants for new gensets. HR implemented a new online process for health benefits enrollment. We're continuing to evaluate new water technologies and look at AI and what that can do for the district. We're working on a new water master plan. I feel like we need some work on our district-wide standard operating procedures. We have some. We likely need more. We need to find out what we need and what we should have, and then get together and work towards developing those. So I feel like we need more effort on that coming up. And then finally, really our best practices in finance were recognized by GFOA, Government Finance Officers Association. Again, awarded the Triple Crown. Great work. Moving on to strategic goal 6, financial stewardship. Really excellent progress in this area so far. Here are some highlights. Implementing a really effective grants program. We've applied for a number of grants. We're still waiting to hear back on our AMI meter grant. That's like over a $3 million grant. I think that's really high probability, but let's hear back, please, on that. We've gotten some grants. The board's aware of the $250,000 grant we received for the SCADA implementation. So a lot of great work on the grant side already, even in tough times. We launched the iPay Smart Billing Platform. Again, that'll bring $2 million back to the district over the next 5 years. Completed the sponsorships policy. That's actually coming up later today. And we're nearly complete with the water rate study. We've got some great direction from the board last week, and continuing to work with Raftellus and finance to bring that to a close. And then we have developed and implemented a staffing resource assessment process using a business case evaluation method. And this is really when new staff requests for staffing come in. Here's a process that we have in place to evaluate that request, look at options, take a business case evaluation, look at the pros and cons, the return on investment for staffing, look at all other alternatives. We're currently reviewing one such request right now using this new format. First ever. So a couple more to go. Strategic goal 7, achieving health, safety, and regulatory compliance. 23 work plan goals dedicated to this strategic goal. Pretty good, doing pretty good so far this year. Taking a look at some highlights, completed the water loss audit. So far, compliance with all state permits and all water quality regulations. We developed a new cross-connection control program earlier this year, put an ordinance in place. We're now implementing that in the field. That was a big lift. So far, completing all OSHA required safety trainings. And finally, I think we need a little more work on this area, looking at health and safety risk management strategies. Last goal, perhaps the most important, deliver superior customer service. 18 work plan goals associated with this strategic goal. seeing we've started everything, a little bit of progress on a handful, some good progress, a few others excellent or nearly complete. But I feel among all the goals, probably the most work is coming up in this area. For example, we need to develop a customer service, customer feedback process, like a phone survey. If you're with our customer service staff, you can complete a survey at the back end of that phone call, for example. So need to develop that. Also, still looking to streamline the new customer process. We have completed the customer survey as part of the front end of the Prop 218 effort, and we've had complete and effective response to the public records requests. There's been a lot of them this year, some pretty expansive ones, so a lot to that. And finally, just I think really excellent internal and external communication and development of key messages for all of our staff and board members on their trips. So we went through the 8 overall, looking at all the 195 work plan goals. You can kind of see how we're doing so far this year. Really, good to excellent or better progress on just about everything. So that's really great to see. Actually, 75% are seeing excellent progress, complete or nearly complete. And I just wanted to say, this is because it's, I feel honored to report out on this, but it's the board and the staff that are responsible for this work. The board for the leadership and the direction and providing the resources it takes for staff to get it done. And then thanks to our staff for working hard, working smart, and working together to get this great work done and making great progress on all these work plan goals, so far this year. So just finally, this is a endless loop, an ongoing process, vision statement, mission statement, the core values, trying to achieve those strategic goals through 40 objectives and these 195 work plan goals. Again, the work plan goals developed for 12-month periods, mid-year and end-of-year assessments, reporting out to the board after each one of those periods, and then annually revising and updating the work plans and the work plan goals, all towards continuous improvement and achievement for the district. And that's my update. I'll open it up to questions and comments.
All right. Any questions for John?
I have a question for you, John. What is the
Yes.
what is the criteria that you use to determine that it goes from one status 1 to status 2 or 3?
I guess it's somewhat objective, somewhat subjective. It would probably depend on how the goal is structured. If a goal can be like, for example, there's a goal like the water system master plan. The goal over the 12-month period is to complete that master plan. So I'm looking into it 6 months. We've got we've got a contractor on board. They're working with staff. We're on schedule to meet the overall goal. So I'm calling that probably excellent progress, for example. And some of these we just haven't really gotten off the ground. We've talked about them. We've got some ideas. We've maybe looked at some example programs at other districts, for example. And so those might get a one or a two. And some of these are ongoing types of goals, like meeting our water quality requirements. So far this year we're meeting all of them. So in that case, that would get the full score, even though the year's not done. So I think depends on the goal. It's somewhat objective and subjective depending on how the goal was written and where we are in the year and where we are in terms of progress.
Just to follow up with the subjective, would it be more fair to provide guidelines of what gets you to the next, to the next status? Only because, what one person got to number 4, how did they get to number 4 when it's, compared to in another different group? Because there seems like there's a lot of 2s and 3s and 4s, but really, like, how do you know is it enough to be completed, or was it? I'm having a hard time like following what gets a certain goal to the next phase to say
there's
you're almost
not-
complete.
I gotcha. Yeah, it's not a perfect kind of, it's not a test. You got 88 out of 100, so it's a 3. It's not, I guess it's not to that level. Could we build in a bit more, I guess clear kind of scoring mechanisms? We could look at that. We could do some of that.
Well, and John, wouldn't you also be, just to kind of add on to what Director Garcia was saying, I would assume that part of that evaluation is not just simply you looking at, but you talking to the manager, talking to the AGM, talking to the owner of that particular goal. So it's kind of a group assessment, right?
Oh, yeah,
Unless
actually,
just simply your call on it, right?
actually, most of these are presented by the lead person.
Yeah.
And a self-assessment, and then it comes to, ultimately it comes to me to kind of agree or disagree.
Yeah.
And mostly people are hard on themselves. So I don't recall reducing too many, but I did increase more than the number that I reduced, for example. So, but yeah, the lead person identified for each of these goals is like fully responsible. They help develop the goal. They schedule this particular goal statement. They're responsible for getting their team together and making it happen. They're responsible for providing the mid-year and end-of-year assessment on their group of goals. And then really they're justifying, why is it a 3 or why is it a 4? And I'm sort of a little more than agreeing or disagreeing, but there's some dialogue, and I think overall it's motivating. I think it's driving progress in areas that probably wouldn't see it otherwise. So I think that's whether something gets a 3 or a 4 or 2 or 3, it's the fact that we're getting it off the 1s and 2s for sure. When we're making progress, we're moving things forward that perhaps never would get off the ground otherwise.
Answer your question?
Yeah,
But
it's more of a
But I hear
how
your
you
point.
feel,
It's a good point.
not you. Like
Yeah.
the lead feels that they're moving in progress. It's not a measurable criteria that gets them from level 1 or 2 or 3.
Something a little more measurable would be better. I get you.
And I think a lot would just depend on the goal and how measurable that is as well. So
Yeah, I think
each of them are going to vary a little.
for some of these, we've talked about it in the past, and I think we'll incorporate some of these moving forward, is actually having some more what I would call key performance indicators.
Mhm.
So it's a dollar amount, it's a percentage, it's a number out of so many. So I think point taken. I think point well taken, and look to add more of those really more specific SMART goals.
And also, too-
Kelvin? Yeah.
oh, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say you had a question.
Also, they have, some people, we're talking about the progression, like, right? You want to eventually get your 2 to a 3, 3 to a 4, those type of things. Then you have the person that's perfectly happy being a 2. And so, leave
For
that
sure.
person- yeah, and that's by choice. And so they have an option,
Yeah.
which is good. But I did have another question too about risk management, because in today's society and climate, and we're doing pretty good, but what's your resources besides Haiti? Do you have someone supporting you with risk management?
We have,
How's that look?
we have Chuck and JPIA, and we're looking at a new JPIA Road to Excellence. I forget the exact name of the program, but so we have some resources, but I think I agree with Haiti that we need more, whether that's internally or externally, is yet to be seen. Haiti, would you like to expand on that?
Yeah, we have an expansive resources through Aqua JPIA and SCRMA, which is our workers' comp provider. And we work closely with Chuck. And internally, we have Mariano and myself. who kind of oversee the risk management program, but we've technically just taken off on handling that portion of it this year. We needed attention.
Yeah.
We needed to kind of develop our programs, and the group as a whole, the executive management team, is very on board with developing those programs. So I think we're on the correct path to developing great resources for our staff internally
Yeah.
and for people externally as well, for safety purposes.
Cool. So I just want to make sure we have a culture of safety, and so that's part of it. Thank you.
Okay, Esteban?
Yes, I have a question for the assessor's current DEI status. What role does BBK working with HR staff play in that?
Who's like, okay.
Yeah, so as you know, with the changes that occurred early on this year with administration's changes, we reached out to BBK and we're working collaboratively with their attorneys to develop a DEI program that would meet the requirements of the new administration. So it's a work in progress.
Thank you.
Dan, do you have any questions?
I guess my point was that I realize this is only a half-year report, not the full year. And you kind of elaborate, there's probably potential that some things that are 4 might end up as a 3 towards the end of the year. And I think
Good.
the team is doing strong work. So I am recognizing that you have a huge amount of different areas of interest that have to be effective in one small year, which is just a great job that the team's doing. I appreciate it.
Thank you. It's all the team. Starts with the board.
Yeah, and I'll definitely echo that as well, to all the managers, to you, John, to everybody. It all started with our strategic planning as a board, and you all have now taking it down to the unit level, which is awesome. And it's great to see the progress on these, and look forward to hearing how the year ends. But great job to everybody, and keep up the good work.
Thank you. And actually, as a special thank you to Paula for helping me collect all this information over time and working with the managers to bring the information into the spreadsheet, and then helping to build substantially the graphics in this PowerPoint presentation. So thank you so much.
All righty.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. If there's no other questions, we'll go ahead and move on. Great job. All right. So next up, we have the consent calendar. So we have 7 items on the consent calendar for this evening. If there's no desire to pull an item, we'll entertain a motion to adopt the consent calendar.
I motion that we adopt the consent calendar as presented.
Okay. We have a first. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay. We have a second. No discussion. We'll go ahead and call the roll.
Director Moore,
Yes.
Director Bennett,
Yes.
Director Garcia,
Yes.
Vice President Jenkins,
Yes.
President Young.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
All right. So now we'll go to business matters, and I don't know if we can pull the PowerPoint down for folks at home. There we go. All right. So we have one item under business matters, our sponsorship policy.
Good evening, President Young, members of the board. This evening, I'm happy to present sponsorship policy. This policy has been through the External Affairs Committee and the Policy Committee as well. So just a little bit of background on our monetary and water bottle donations that the POGA department has kept track in the last 2 years. On the screen, you see a pie chart of where the monetary donations have gone to in the 24-25 fiscal year. 30% of the monetary sponsorship have gone to education programs, including the Water Education Water Awareness Committee, the Inland Solar Challenge, that we've been part of, as well as scholarships. Additionally, you'll see Inland Empire sponsorships are more broad. It could be a water association, but overall, it's been evenly distributed throughout the district in this pie chart. We also have kept track of the water donations we've had in the district through 24-25. Total cases given out in the community have been 907 cases, so a total of 21,768 water bottles. Overall, in the 24-25 year, there has been a high demand in the community of Bloomington, and as well as you will see there, Fontana and Rialto have been around 28%, 23%, and then 7% for community, which we see as broader events through our Supervisor Baca, Assemblymember Garcia, Senator Eloise Gomez Reyes when they have an event and they ask us for water donations. And we keep track of this through a spreadsheet we have within our department. So we ensure that every donation, we keep track of that. So we're able to report back to our committee and the board. Just a quick snapshot, 23 and 24. Numbers do change depending on the monetary sponsorships. On this slide, there it was a little higher in the community of Fontana, but in that year we did have the Fontana Gala, which was not in the 24-25 year.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have any questions, feel free to ask me those during these slides. I know they were more of an overall view of all the sponsorships we've had.
Socorro,
Yes.
what is the other for?
Other could be water organizations such as the BIA Water Conference. We call that other. I know for this one there was some well education as well that was considered as other. And then for 23-24 donations, in the prior slide, it was a higher amount. As you see, our community outreach has increased in the last year. So we did double in the water donations from 23-24 to 24-25. Evenly, throughout the pie charts, very evenly distributed through the cities of Fontana, Bloomington, and Rialto overall. So now we're here today for the development of this policy. So the district sponsorship policy was developed through surveys, a review of best practices within the water industry, and benchmarking against successful sponsorship models used by other special districts. And again, this approach ensures our district aligns with industry standards and supports strategic district goals. And the policy is designed to ensure that sponsorship funds are allocated in a prudent, transparent, and fiscally responsible manner. And then it serves a guiding framework for the board of directors, for staff, and sponsorship applicants to uphold accountability and public trust in all sponsorship-related decisions. There we go. Sorry. Still learning this. I know it's a little small, but within the sponsorship request, there is a criteria that organizations, when they're asking for a sponsorship, must meet this criteria. So I'm just going to go over the list. The requesting organization shall be located within the district's service area or provide benefit primarily within the district's service boundaries. The sponsorship shall promote positive stakeholder and community relations. The sponsorship shall provide meaningful opportunities for a district to engage with and increase visibility among its customers. The sponsorship shall generate favorable media attention for the district, and it shall increase public awareness of issues related to the district's mission. And the sponsorship shall encourage collaboration with regional partners aligned with the district goals. The sponsorship shall demonstrate clear nexus to water resource management, or conservation. The event or activity shall occur within the district's service area or contiguous regions, and regional events must demonstrate a direct benefit to the district's customers. So, for example, I would like to give the example of the Fontana Chamber Gala. So we consider that how we make sure they're part of the eligibility criteria is that we do have an ad in their sponsorship gala, a booklet, so that we are able to share what we do as an agency, and therefore that checks off the boxes on the eligibility criteria for that sponsorship. Bloomington backpack giveaway, again, in our community, in the community of Bloomington, we're providing the messaging of conservation. Check off those boxes as well. Any questions on this slide?
Yeah, just to ask what you just mentioned right now, how does the backpack come to do with conservation?
Within that giveaway, we are able to share flyers on water conservation to the students, share water resources, and as well, we're in the community of Bloomington itself.
Okay, and on number 8, Can you just elaborate more of what does it mean by contiguous regions?
On that one, Jeff, I might need a little bit, see, I don't know, the way I see it is, therefore, if the event is, I'm going to give there's an example of the Arrowhead United Way. They serve the larger area, but their event was in the city of Rialto, so therefore, we can justify being able to sponsor that event. I don't know if that.
Yeah, what we normally see are things such as the, Southern California Water Alliance, things of that nature, where that may be outside of our service area, but it impacts all of our neighboring water districts, and it's a contiguous region. We're not sponsoring something in Reading or something like that. So it's something where the district is involved in a group or an association that impacts the region, not just our particular service area, but the region in which we have neighboring water districts.
Yeah, like the STEM challenge that we've been longtime supporters of. The event often isn't actually in our district, but it services school districts that are, whether or not the school itself may actually reside in our boundaries, but it's all within the same region essentially. So it just gives, I think, Socorro and her team a little wiggle room that, yeah, it doesn't have to just be the service area. It can be in the surrounding community as long as it's touching our customers in one way or another.
Or like tomorrow's BIA Water Conference. It's a water event. It's not in our district, but it's a regional event where with other water agencies. Therefore, we're able to sponsor that event.
Thank you for that clarification.
And part of the sponsorship recognition is, as you see on this slide here, is having our logo on these flyers. We have a logo on the Pat Giveaway Resource Event, Summer Splash Event, and we were part of. And then I know on the third one, it's kind of small, but that's the BIA Water Conference. That's part of the sponsorship recognition that we do get with the in-kind donations and voluntary as well. Oh, sorry. So the approval process would be sponsorship requests received by the district shall be documented by applicable district staff by using the WVWD sponsorship request form. The general manager or his or her designee has authority to approve individual sponsorships requests up to $2,500. Under authority, the general manager, the total sponsorship funds awarded to any single entity shall not exceed $5,000 per fiscal year. This annual limit applies cumulatively to all applications received from the same entry during that fiscal year. Sorry, I'm not. For sponsorships, whether single or multi-year, with a total exceeding of $5,000, the request shall be reviewed by the External Affairs Committee. Upon the committee's recommendation for approval, the request will be forwarded to the full board of directors for final authorization.
Can you go back to that? So is it 5,000 for 1 year, or because this says multi-year? I guess, can I go back to the previous slide?
Okay.
So it cannot exceed $5,000 per fiscal year, and then the next slide says for multiple years.
Well, Socorro, I think what you're probably meant to say is if there's someone who has multiple events throughout the year,
correct,
as long as it doesn't exceed 5,000, it's within the general manager's approval. But once it does start to, so let's say we sponsored 4 chamber events and the last one put us over 5,000, that would then have to come to the committee and the board. But yeah, multi-year should have been multi-event probably, I'm guessing is what you meant to say.
Well, I mean, you can have a membership in an association water related that you have to pay multi-year, but it's not over $5,000.
Correct, but I think it's correct me if I'm wrong, but I think what you were maybe trying to say, Socorro, is that if it cumulatively adds up to 5,000, is that kind of more what the slide should have been saying?
Correct.
Yeah.
So, for example, we have a certain organization that we donate, ask for requests for sponsorship money multiple times a year, and that adds to 5,000, over 5,000, then we'll go to the External Affairs Committee
Yeah.
and then the board for authorization.
But it's a single fiscal year.
Correct.
Yes, yeah.
On the screen, you will see the community sponsorship form that has been updated, as well as the community sponsorship program webpage, landing page. We also have entities who request donations submit. This form ensures that we are able to track the request. With that, we do ask that organizations do submit at least 4 weeks ahead, and this ensures that we are able to be part of the sponsorship, whether on a flyer, a website, social media, and also for water donations, we want to ensure that we do have the water available for those events. So that just helps us with planning purposes. Eligible sponsorships may include, but are not limited to, the water industry conferences, special district-related conferences, community events that provide a public benefit consistent within the district's mission and enhance the quality of life within the service area. Watershed restoration, chamber of commerce events, water-related educational programs, water efficiency and conservation initiatives, environmental efforts related to water resources. Ineligible sponsorships requests from the following shall not be considered: for profit entities, individuals, political organizations or campaigns, and partisan causes, religious or church organizations, unless the sponsored event is open to the general public and serves as a non-sectarian purpose. Sponsorship requests will be rejected if the criteria as outlined in the policy are not followed, or if there is an existent appearance of conflict of interest. Policy adoption and review. This policy should be adopted by the resolution of the board of directors and reviewed biannually. Any amendments or modifications must be approved by the board. The Public Outreach and Government Affairs Manager should provide quarterly updates to the External Affairs Committee. An annual report should be submitted to the board of directors detailing the previous year's sponsorships, and the reports shall include the name of each sponsor entity, the location, and the amount requested of the sponsor event, a description of how each sponsorship supported the district's mission in alignment with this policy. So next steps, we did add new additions to the sponsorship. Organizations on the form will have to mark not sell water or they'll be disqualified. Must provide a copy of marketing materials or letters of thank you to be considered again for the sponsorship. And then highlights that 4-week lead time for requests. Once the board approves the sponsorship policy, community partners will be updated on new changes of policy, again, upon the board approval.
So for this year, do we have a resolution, or are we just going to do by minute or motion?
I believe it's
Is there I don't think resolution in the board. I mean, we don't need it legally. We can adopt it this year by motion, but if you want to do by resolution, we just need to have resolution next year.
by motion would be fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Any questions for Socorro?
No, well done.
Not a question, just a comment.
Mhm.
I appreciate the donation to the United Way. I participated in that project, and it was needed and appreciated again.
Of course, we try our best to accommodate requests. You know, sometimes the 4-week lead helps us with the planning, but if we have the supplies and we're able to provide the water for organizations, we're happy to do it as long as they fill out the form.
And certainly I'll say that I've had quite a few organizations thank me for our support over these past couple of years. And so I think it's great to have a firm policy. And I know you and our new CFO and our previous CFO have been kind of bouncing this one back and forth a bit for a while. So I'm glad that we're to this point to where we can adopt it. But I just want to thank everyone who's had a part in helping craft this. To, thank you all on behalf of myself and my colleagues. It's great to see this coming together. And again, we're doing great things out in the community, and everyone keeps telling me that. So keep up the great work. Yeah.
Now, I also want to thank you on the pie charts that you provided, because it shows that we're being equitable with how we're distributing the waters, and that we're not really focusing on certain regions, that everybody's getting the same amount of water. So thank you for that.
Great. All right, well, if there's no other questions or comments, I'll entertain a motion to approve the sponsorship policy.
I motion that we approve the sponsorship policy as presented.
We have a first. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a first and a second. If there's no discussion, we'll call the roll.
Director Moore,
Yes.
Director Bennett,
Yes.
Director Garcia,
Yes.
Vice President Jenkins,
Yes.
President Young.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
All right, thank you very much. All right, so next up we have reports. So first up we have board committee reports. Do we have any board committee reports for this evening?
Dr. Moore, you want me to read this one out?
Yeah.
I'd like to read out for the Safety and Technology Committee, which we just had last Monday. Several items. One, site security. Staff is reviewing quotes received to consolidate the intrusion alarm and access control systems into the security camera system and the additional 11 security cameras to remote sites. A recommendation will be presented at the next committee meeting. SCADA master plan, great news. FEMA has released the funds to Cal OES for the state and local cybersecurity grant program, which will reimburse us about $250K of the project costs. What's unique about that is that we can do it in increments, but it was recommended that we do larger chunks, so we don't have to wait to finish spending $250K before we get some of the money back, just so you know. So we can do it gradually. A 3-year licensing agreement with Microsoft was discussed. We reviewed the item, which was placed on the agenda tonight for approval. And for additional updates, staff attended the ERNIE Cybersecurity Working Group meeting, which focused on operational technology. Staff also attended the meeting hosted by ISLE Utilities, discussing the use of AI and how to collaborate with the water agencies on understanding and implementing AI into daily operations, which I found very interesting because AI is the way we are going. Asset management, we are currently evaluating our needs and options for advancing our asset management program. End of report.
Okay. All right. Any other reports, or you want to give it?
Yes, just briefly on the engineering operations side. An overview, SCADA master plan is showing good progress. Regarding Rialto Colton groundwater basin update, staff reported that the water levels being at an all-time low in the Rialto groundwater basin. And regarding the facilities master plan, we received an update on facility master plan, which is nearing completion. That's it.
Okay. All right. Any other committee reports?
I'm going to report for the External Affairs Committee. We met on the 28th of July, and we had a general update on the public affairs, working with the individual departments to film a day in the life video series. The first video was presented, which highlighted the water distribution department, and staff will be meeting with the Rialto Unified to advocate our community water education initiatives. And an update was provided on Prop 218 outreach, which is expected to kick off in September. And we received the Value Water campaign, reviewed the Value Water campaign. Then we started talking about the 2025 poster contest. Staff will be promoting this year's poster contest with the theme being "In My Water Savings Era Means." Let me repeat that again. Being in my water savings era means. I know. Can't wait to see what that art network.
Twister.
We talked about IU Works, and the chair for IU Works joined the meeting and provided an update on the program's progress, release of an RFP for program management support to expand its participation. We received a presentation from the consultant selected for the RFP, who is excited to work with the committee and staff on outreach strategies. And we also received an update on a grant application submitted by IE Works to receive funding. It's a highly competitive grant, and award notifications are expected in a few months. California Strategies provided updates with an overview on 3 bills which are currently supporting or opposing. Church and Associates provided updates on the fiscal year 26 appropriations. We were successful in working with Congressman Pete Aguilar for the SCADA Master Plan project, with $1,900,000 being approved and moving forward by the subcommittee. We are working with Congressman Aguilar's office to revise the scope of work for the Bunker Hill well project, which looks very promising. And we are working to coordinate a Romer ribbon cutting with Congressman Aguilar, likely for January 2026. And that's the end of my report.
All right, thank you. If there's no other ones, we'll go to regular board member reports. Does anyone have any comments or anything they'd like to mention?
Just a few nights ago, I attended the National Night Out. I went to 3 locations, Fontana, Rialto, and Bloomington, and I want to thank my wife and kids for allowing me to tow them along, and my kids had a lot of fun. So thank you for all the communities for participating and allowing me to participate with you, and my kids had a wonderful time.
Angie, did you have anything?
I also just want to report that I did go to the Fontana National Night Out, and want to give kudos to the POGA team. And we had another staff there. Was it from customer service?
Gina.
Yeah.
Gina from accounting billing. Yeah.
Well, they both did an exceptional job. They interacting with the community and, interacting and showing them the prizes. So I just want to give a shout out to both of them.
Okay, gentlemen?
I also attended Fontana's National Night Out, and well attended. It was a great event. Fontana Water has some giveaways I liked. So we'll talk about that. I went to Rialto's as well.
You have anything?
Yes, I also went to the National Night Out, and great job by the team. I think our lines were probably the longest at the tables for people to participate in the event. Also, I attended the Well Untapped Summer Session up in the Bay Area. I was the only elected official from a water department there, and along with being familiar with the water industry, so I think my presence and contribution was appreciated, and look forward to the next one.
Excellent. All right. Okay, moving on. So next up, we have the general manager.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just have an update on staffing and recruitments tonight. And the list is getting shorter again. Starting off with Water Distribution Operator 2, after 2 sets of interviews, we made a great selection, and he is scheduled to start August 18th. For Engineering Project Manager, this posting is still open. It closes tomorrow. And for Support Services Supervisor, this posting also closes tomorrow, and understand a lot of interest in that. And then finally, Chief Water Systems Operator Production and Customer Service Rep 3. Those are currently vacant, and also currently, I guess I would say, under kind of a management evaluation, looking at department and district needs and where we need staffing resources the most. End of report.
All right, thank you very much.
And I have no report tonight, Mr. President.
Council, thank you. POGA.
I do have some quick updates tonight. Oh. Sorry, I'm still very.
It's a new clicker.
You're doing great.
Point at the laptop.
I was like, just like a recap of National Night Out as mentioned earlier. The POGA team was participating in 3 National Night Out events on Tuesday. Fontana, Gina and Isabel were on Fontana. Amber and Elva were in Rialto, and Luis and Albert were in Bloomington. This evening, we do have the Colton National Night Out as well. Okay, I'm gonna figure this out one day. We also participated in the Bloomington Splash Pad. Our towels were a great hit. As you see, Supervisor Joe Baca Jr. does have one of our towels there. And then Isabel and Daniel were leading that event as well. And the Girl Scouts are on the right there. Down. I'm gonna figure this out eventually. Other community events we participated in was the Bloomington Movies in the Park on July 17 and July 31st, the Bloomington Backpack Giveaway, and the Rialto Farmers Market, attended by President Young and Director Bennett. On our education update, as Director Garcia mentioned, our 2025 poster contest will be kicking off. This year's theme is Being in My Water Saving Era Means. So a little bit of Taylor Swift there. But we're asking our students to showcase what what water conservation means to them in that era. Our deadline is October 8th and is open to students in our service area who attend our service area or live in our service area. So we'll be promoting that on social media, newsletter, and throughout in community events. Additionally, myself, Mary Jo, Haiti, met with Juanita Chan from Rialto Unified School District, and we'll be presenting to the board directors on September 4th some very exciting education collaboration. I'm also pleased to announce that the Public Affairs POGA team, 2 of our award submissions for our videos, Water Service Community, were selected to be we were part of the nomination process, so they'll be recognizing them on October 2nd for the Star Awards 2020-25 at the Queen Mary. So as you see, there are 2 different categories that we made it in: the social media campaign and water campaign as well. So hopefully, cross our fingers.
Well done.
Queen Mary. Yeah?
Great place.
Congratulations.
Yes, congratulations.
And that's it for me today.
All right, thank you very much. All right, Board Secretary. Let's look at our calendars
Just
here.
a quick snapshot of the upcoming weeks. So actually tomorrow, we have the BIA Water Conference. Next week, we have several committee meetings: Finance, HR, Policy. And then on the 15th, we have the tour with Assemblymember Garcia, and we have Director Garcia and President Young attending that. Then we have our regular board meeting on the 21st. We do have a couple conflicts at the end of the month because of the CSDA annual conference in Monterey. We've already rescheduled the engineering, operations, and planning meeting to the 19th, but on that Monday, the 25th, external affairs meeting, we will need to reconsider moving. So just putting it out there, I can reach out next week and we can maybe pick a date. And then looking at September, on the 1st is Labor Day, so we will be closed. So another conflict right there with safety and tech. So again, I will reach out and see if we need to reschedule or cancel if we don't have any items.
I was gonna say, since Director Moore's here, would Tuesday work out the following day, or is?
If it works for both of you, it will work for staff.
If Director Moore likes it. Since the Monday the 1st, which is a holiday, would you like to move safety and tech to Tuesday? So Tuesday would be fine.
Okay.
Please.
So we'll do that Tuesday at 5.
Yes.
And then regular board meeting again on the 4th. And I do want to highlight the 27th. We have the Bloomington Alleyway groundbreaking scheduled, so that should already be on everybody's calendars. So if anyone has any other questions about the upcoming weeks.
Any
Well, I
questions?
want to say, Paola, thank you for doing such a great job for us. I mean, stepping into the
Mhm.
shoes isn't easy, especially with the 5 of us. And please share with Elvia. We hope she's getting well, and we look forward to her return.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Any other questions, comments? All right. Anything else? Nothing else? Or is that it?
That's all.
All right. Okay. Well, thank you, everyone. So we are adjourned.